we got an argument about it, and at the end of it, she's just like, "Are you gonna stop pouting?" And she was 100% right, because when you take your feelings out of it, it's not always about you. It's not always about me and what I need, but about what they need. And at that moment, like, that's what kids do, is they make you, if you're a very selfish person, it's going to be very difficult.
Talk at the level you're going to talk at. Is that the level you talk at?
Isn't it?
I feel like right now you're a 3 and you're usually like a 7. Welcome back.
Is that
Life with the Gentrys? Is that not how Mark talks?
Can you make that a clip, Kev? Like, just, is all you do criticize?
Oh, is that what you hear?
Yes.
Because that's a 6.
Well, what do you call it?
Well, I usually stonewall.
I don't. Is this criticism or is this not criticism? That's how I always
I'm not
talk.
criticizing. I'm just talking.
But you're telling me, are you gonna talk like that? That's how I talk.
It's just a yes or no answer. It wasn't a question.
Okay. I don't know where we're starting with this podcast. If our guy's going to go from our last conversation or right now, but thank you for tuning in to Life in Abundance with the Gentrys. We're on episode 28. Is that correct, Kev? Yes. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a visitor, aka our number 3, aka Coda Layton, our youngest, stage 5 clinger. We have been hit in our household with the sickness bug, and for probably the last 2 weeks. And then, of course, our babysitter, aka my mom, gets sick today, and right after we're all kind of getting on the mend, and so we have the kids with us at spring break. And kind of funny enough, she's in here because she's the topic today, Coda. And kids are always funny because you never know what's going to happen from day to day with kids. No matter how old they are, you just don't know what is going to happen. So, babe, you want to explain?
Oh, Lord, yeah. So it has been a rough 15 days, should I say. It began with our household just got hit with whatever cold bug. That just means kids don't sleep. You don't sleep. Everybody's sleep deprived. You're cranky, whatever. Then Sunday, things took a turn for the worse. After then, we had like a stomach bug hit a couple days after, the cold symptoms. But Sunday, we had my parents over for dinner, and Coda was back in her bedroom. I went in there, and she wanted some privacy, kind of shooed me away. So I said, I'll come back in a minute. I walked in there, and I said, do you need Mama to change you? And she says, yeah. So I lay her on the floor in there to change her, and as I'm about to change her, she says, no, Dada. And when she said Dada, I saw a shiny penny in her mouth. I said, Coda, what's in your mouth? And she goes, ah. And right as she does that, she swallows the penny whole. Obviously not in half. I was like, oh no. I freaked out. She, of course, immediately started choking. I flipped her over, hit her back, and penny was gone. She swallowed the whole sucker. Where's the penny? Where's the penny? Yep, went down the hatch and all. And the ironic thing is, my parents were over for dinner, and my dad had just bought us these choking devices online, and I brought them in the house and didn't even tell Mark what they were or where they were. So my parents are like, where's the choking devices? At this point, the penny's long gone. She's breathing fine. I immediately called the doctor, and the doctor said if her airway doesn't seem blocked, I would just say let's monitor her, and we'll bring her in tomorrow for an x-ray if she doesn't pass it. Just let your mind wander what that means. So, she just was her same old self. Didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary while we ate dinner. After dinner, she didn't really eat, and she threw this tantrum because she wanted an ice cream cone after dinner. And I said, absolutely not. You didn't eat your food. You don't get an ice cream cone. This is how our house is. It's a rule. And she lost her mind. Like, came unglued, lost her mind, tantrum. For over 30 minutes, would you say, she screamed to the point where I told my parents, just go home. This isn't even enjoyable. Not for you. Thank you. And so we sent them on their way. she then just started acting out, and I said, no, that's it. We're going to bed. I'm not doing this with you. So she went right to sleep at 7 o'clock. By 7:15, I was out in the living room helping Mark with the other two. And then we go to bed, and at 10 p.m., she starts vomiting. So then I'm thinking, oh, God, is this the penny coming back up? What's happening here? And then she vomits all night long, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Meanwhile, Mark's running between the other girls, trying to help them, and sleeping on the couch because she was sleeping with me in our bed. It just was a nightmare. If you have sick kids in your home, you know what this is like. Okay, we're going to be done with that. Thank you. Oh, sorry. No more. All done. And this is parenting at its finest right now. All done. No more. So, when it was all said and done, she was so sick until 2 a.m., woke up at 5:30 a.m. like nothing even happened. Happy as could be. Hang on, Kevin.
On a side note, does anybody else have a person in their family that buys them all sorts of stuff like as seen on TV? Because my father-in-law, 1 year for Christmas, God bless him, he bought us everything like from Walgreens that was like as seen on TV. It was like this like bug net that goes over like your back door. And it was like, and it had some like magnets on it. So buying this stuff that he bought first when people are choking, instead of buying one, he bought 6.
Nope, Coda, not for you.
We're having absolute chaos in the studio right now. Coda is just causing havoc. And what's funny about my father-in-law is he bought these things and then he's mad at us why Coda choked or why Coda swallowed a penny that we didn't use them, because it would probably be the only time in our life that we'll actually have to use them. I hope. But yes, that just kind of a random question and thought. Does anyone else have that as seen on TV? If you're ever wondering how they stay in business, my father-in-law is probably their best client.
Anyways, the kid wakes up at 5:30 a.m. like nothing even happened. Oh, but I rescheduled my entire day. I was due to be in the salon that day. I had clients coming in from out of town. I moved some clients to the house so I could be on Coda watch. Meanwhile, the doctor's been on demand just telling us to monitor her. She wasn't concerned that it was lodged anywhere. It didn't seem like a concern because she was breathing fine. So now we're on poop watch. We need the baby to poop out the penny, and if she doesn't, we're going to have to take her in to get an x-ray. So finally, by 4 p.m. the next day, we had a penny sighting. And it was disgusting. But the lesson learned through it all is just like a simple reminder. When you have kids, you really can plan as much as you want to plan. And at the end of the day, they can derail your plan at any moment. And you have to just be willing to go with it. There was nothing we could do. Once the penny was gone, it was gone. And our whole world was turned upside down for the next 24 hours. And not to mention just like an emotional roller coaster, because you're just praying to God they're okay. And then I thought of all the things like, what if this and what if that? And, you know, when it comes to the health of your child, there's nothing scarier, I don't think, in a parent's world than something happening to them, right?
Especially when they can't talk.
Exactly. And so she has a very spunky personality, and she's a very dominant personality. So to console her in a time like that, she was just unconsolable during her tantrum. And then getting sick, just her feeling like so limp and helpless. It just is, it was such a sad moment for me and my mama's heart. So anyways, fast forward, we are still fighting off whatever this sickness is. And now it's hit the grandparents' houses because they've helped care for the kids. And, you know, it's just like it spreads like wildfire. It's unfortunate, but it's just our life right now. So it doesn't matter how much we try and plan our life. Everything takes a shift when your kids do, right? And so for us, having her in our podcast isn't exactly ideal, but this is my life today, and this is how we have to do it. Mark and I head down to Dana Point next weekend, and we thought, well, thank God this happened while we were home and not while we were gone, and put that on our parents. So all in all, I'm thankful it's this week and not next.
Yeah, it's we were going through it, and we had a argument that night because Coda was screaming, and Bree was trying to calm her down. I was like, dude, I'm just over this, because my feeling is I hadn't got any attention from Bree that day, and I just wanted to kind of like hang out with Bree and do those things, and we got an argument about it, and at the end of it, she's just like, are you going to stop pouting? And she was 100% right, because when you take your feelings out of it, it's not always about you. It's not always about me and what I need, but about what they need. And at that moment, like, that's what kids do, is they make you, if you're a very selfish person, it's going to be very difficult. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because kids, no matter, I mean, I don't, she didn't try to swallow the, I mean, she didn't like, she knew, but didn't know at the same time. Right. And so you're sitting there, and that just put a like left turn on the night. Like, oh, well, this was kind of going one way, now it went this way. Right. Mm-hmm. And kids do that, and you realize at the end of the day, it's like really not about you. It's about less of you and mm-hmm. less of me. And last night, she woke up from a nap right before bedtime, and she was screaming, and she was saying, Dad, Mom, and I was going back and forth, and she wouldn't go to me. She'd go to Bree, and then wanted me. And Bree's like, why don't you just lay down? And so I laid down with them in bed, and
lay down next to us.
Yeah, next to us, and she just totally went calm and went to bed. And at the end of the day, what I realized was my girls and my wife just need me to show up less emotional and take myself out of it, because they need me to be there for them, like the solid foundation that I need to be as a father and a husband. Because if I can do that, then they're less emotional, they're less moody, because Dad is. And so that was a big lesson the last couple weeks, is because, sickness just kind of heightens all your emotions and feelings and anxiety, and just realizing that, hey man, like, it's not always in your control. And if the less of you, the better, because you're able to give it to your kids and your wife and people around you.
Yeah, we just talked about this actually in couples therapy right before this. And Stephen, our therapist, was saying, it's amazing when you take your ego out of things, how clearly you can see. And when you make it not about you, and how selfless you can be at times, like, there's just so much power in that, and you don't realize how much of your own mindset holds you back, changes the situation. For Coda the other night, who was unconsolable, last night, wanted mark me, she just ultimately wanted to feel safe, and she felt safe with Mom and Dad. So as soon as Mark laid down with us, he was even kill. Daddy's not going anywhere. Mommy's not going anywhere. And guess what? You're not going anywhere. She totally stopped crying and went right to sleep. But it takes us a minute to like get out of our head of what do I want right now and what do they need. And that's like a big thing for us in our marriage, is maybe what I want right now is not what the other person needs. And what I'm called here to do is to serve them with what they need, right? Not always, but in time, in moments. Thank you. Not for you. So yeah, moral of the story is, it doesn't matter how much we plan something. At the end of the day, she made it shift completely. And as soon as we stopped dwelling on what we wanted and just gave her what she needed, everything changed. Huh.
It's actually kind of annoying sometimes. I mean, for those of you who have kids, you totally understand this. And
thank you.
It really is a very humbling experience having kids and raising them and seeing them get older. Because
what do you call is the ultimate trifecta?
The ultimate trifecta is being married with kids and being a business owner. It's the trifecta insanity. Of insanity.
Yeah,
because
100%.
You're having to be everything to everyone in your business and your marriage and your kids. And whereas if you're a W-2 employee, which is not bad, but most time you just go home and that's it.
You can turn work off.
You can turn work off, or it's not on you all the time. Like during COVID,
or you should be able to.
Yeah, you should be able to. We own businesses, and it's like that they were affected. So like our employees, are like, okay, cool. Like, do I still get paid, or do I need to find another job? Mm-hmm. Like we still had to pay rent, we still had to do those things, and we saw bills coming in. And so, It really is, especially being married and being business owners with kids. It's like, dude, if you don't want to have that much sex, do that. I'll tell you right now, if you want to just not connect, be a business partner with your spouse, because the amount of arguing and the disagreements, what I have learned over the years, like with kids, is it's not always about me and about my feelings. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I made it all about my feelings and not the facts. Mm-hmm. And like the other night when Coda was screaming, I made it all about me and my facts. My facts are usually my emotions. When I take my emotions out of it and look at the cold, hard facts, just like finances, just like anything in your marriage, if you look at the cold, hard facts, that makes you move better and quicker. If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, Coda's in all the drawers. I think this might be the first time she's been in here that she's been able to like have free reign.
Yeah, she knows we're tied up right now, so she can look in every cabinet. Yeah. Anyways, well, I think that's all we got for today because we are so drained. Our minds are zapped. We are so tired. And at the end of the day, all this family needs is sleep and maybe a little bit of tequila.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That. Well, we are going out of town for work next week for a couple nights without the kids, hopefully, that no one gets sick. And Coda, what do you think?
Can you say bye-bye? How you say bye-bye? Tell Kevin, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Can you blow him a kiss? Blow kiss. Nope, nothing.
Well, thank you for tuning in. I know this was a short one, but I hope you got something out of it because I know I did. And Bree is that cherish the small moments and take yourself out of it because that's really what God's all about is taking yourself out of it. And so if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. If you're listening on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, give us a like and a 5-star review. Thank you.